Listen carefully. Out of millions of people right now, why did this message find you? Today's message is simple, but serious. Heaven chose you, but only a few people ever respond in time. And by the end of this video, you're going to know one thing for sure. Are you someone who responds, or someone who almost did, but missed it? Because this is not just a video. This is about a moment, a very specific kind of moment that most people don't even recognize when it shows up. Something made you click this. Not just randomly, something pulled your attention here. Maybe you've been feeling restless lately, like something is about to change, but you can't explain what. Maybe your thoughts have been different, your awareness sharper, your emotions heavier or deeper, and maybe you've been ignoring it. That feeling is not random, because before you even clicked this video, something had already started shifting in your life. Not outside, inside. And this is where most people make a mistake. They feel it, but they scroll. They sense it, but they distract themselves. They get close, but they don't stay long enough to understand. And because of that, they miss the moment that could have changed everything. But you didn't scroll. You're still here. And that tells me something important. A part of you is ready. Now listen carefully, because this part matters. Not everyone who sees this video will stay till the end. Not everyone who stays will understand. And not everyone who understands will act. That's why only a few people ever experience real change. So this is not about luck. This is not about chance. This is about response. What you do after you become aware. Right now, you are standing at a quiet decision point. You can treat this like just another video, or you can pause and actually listen, because something is opening. Not loudly, not obviously, but quietly. And moments like this don't stay open forever. If you ignore them, they fade. If you respond, they grow. That's the difference. My child, you are closer to a shift than you realize. Things that felt stuck are beginning to move. Things that felt delayed are being repositioned. But this is the moment where everything depends on one thing. Do you stay or do you leave? Because in the next part, you're going to understand what this calling moment really is, why you're feeling it now, and what happens if you respond in time. Stay with me, because now we go deeper into what you're actually feeling. You've been calling it confusion, overthinking, stress, maybe even anxiety. But what if I told you it's not any of that? What if what you're feeling right now is awareness waking up? Think about it. Why now? Why suddenly things feel different? Why certain thoughts won't leave you alone? Why you feel like something is trying to get your attention again and again? That's not random. That's not your mind playing tricks. That is a signal that something in your life is ready to change direction. But here's where most people get it wrong. They feel the signal, but they don't understand it. So they distract themselves. They scroll. They delay. They wait for a better time. And slowly, the signal fades. Not because it wasn't real, but because it wasn't received. My child, this is where you are different. You didn't ignore it. You're still here. And that means you're already ahead of most people. But listen carefully now, because this is important. Awareness alone is not enough. You can feel something is changing. You can sense something is calling you. You can even understand parts of it. But if you don't respond, nothing moves. And this is why only a few people actually experience transformation. Not because they are lucky, not because they are special, but because they respond, they pause, they listen, they take the moment seriously. Right now, you are in that exact moment. A quiet space where something is opening for you. You may not see it yet. You may not fully understand it, but you can feel it. That slight pull, that curiosity, that voice inside saying, stay just a little longer. That voice matters, because there is another voice too, isn't there? A voice telling you, this is nothing. Skip this. Watch something else. That voice has cost you moments before, moments that could have changed things, moments you didn't realize were important until they passed. And this feels different because this time you're aware. My child, you are not being rushed. You are being given a chance to recognize a moment while you're still inside it. Most people realize too late. They look back and say, I felt something that day. I should have listened. I should have stayed. But by then, the moment is gone, and life continues the same way it was before. But that doesn't have to be your story, because right now, you are still inside the moment, still able to respond, still able to choose differently. And that choice is powerful, because small moments like this lead to big shifts, not instantly, not magically, but direction changes, decisions change, awareness grows, and slowly, everything begins to move. Now here's something you need to understand. This calling moment you're feeling does not stay open forever. It doesn't disappear suddenly. It fades. The feeling becomes weaker. The urgency becomes quieter. The awareness becomes distant, until one day, feels like nothing at all. And that's how people miss it. Not because it wasn't real, but because they didn't act while it was strong. My child, right now, it is still strong. You can still feel it. And that means there is still time, but not unlimited time. This is where you decide. Do I stay aware? Or do I go back to distraction?
Do I listen?
Or do I ignore?
Do I respond?
Or do I delay? Because in the next part, we go even deeper. You're going to understand what exactly is shifting in your life right now, what has been quietly preparing behind the scenes, and why this moment feels so intense. So don't go anywhere, because part 3 is where everything starts to make sense. Stay with me, because now things start to make sense. You've been wondering, why is this happening to me? Why does everything feel delayed? Why do things almost work, but then stop? It feels like life has been holding you back, like something keeps slowing you down, like no matter how much you try, something isn't fully opening. But what if it was never meant to open earlier? What if the delay was not rejection, but protection? Think about it. How many times did something not work out, and later, you realized it was actually for the best? How many times did you feel stuck, but looking back, you were being redirected? That's exactly what has been happening. Not everything that was blocked was against you. Some things were stopped because they were not right for you. Some doors stayed closed because walking through them would have taken you further away from where you were meant to go. And yes, it felt frustrating. It made you question everything. It made you doubt yourself. It made you feel like you were falling behind. But you weren't falling behind. You were being positioned. Positioned for a moment like this, because what is opening now requires a different version of you. A more aware version. A more patient version. A more ready version. And that version is who you are becoming. That's why things have been intense lately. The thoughts, the emotions, the overthinking, the sudden realizations, it's all part of a shift. Not something random, not something meaningless. A shift in direction. And shifts like this don't feel comfortable. They feel confusing. They feel heavy. They feel uncertain. Because you are moving from what you knew into something unknown. And the unknown always feels uncomfortable at first. But listen carefully now, because this is important. Just because it feels uncomfortable does not mean it's wrong. In fact, most of the time, growth feels exactly like this. Messy, unclear, uncertain, but powerful. My child, you are not stuck. You are in transition. And transition is where everything changes. But here's where people make a mistake. They leave in the middle of it. They feel the discomfort, and they run back to what is familiar, even if that familiar place was not making them happy, because at least it was known, at least it felt safe. And because of that, they stop the shift. They go back to the same patterns, the same thinking, the same life, but you are still here. And that tells me something important. You are not ready to go back. You are ready to move forward, even if you don't fully understand how yet. And that's enough, because clarity does not come before movement. Clarity comes after you decide to stay, after you decide to listen, after you decide not to run away this time. My child, this moment you are in right now is rare, not because it's loud, not because it's dramatic, but because you are aware of it. Most people go through moments like this without even noticing, but you noticed, and that changes everything, because awareness is the beginning of transformation, and transformation is already in motion. Right now, things are aligning in ways you cannot see yet. Opportunities, connections, they are slowly moving into place. But this is the part where you must not disconnect, because what happens next depends on your response now, not later. Now, and in the next part, you're going to understand something even deeper. What is about to enter your life, what doors are preparing to open, and why this moment cannot be ignored. So stay with me, because part 4 is where the shift becomes real. Stay with me, because now you're about to understand what all of this has been leading to. Up until now, you've been feeling the shift. You've been noticing the changes. You've been questioning everything. But this part is where it becomes real, because something is not just shifting anymore. Something is preparing to enter your life, and you've already felt hints of it. Moments where things almost aligned, situations that came close, opportunities that appeared, then disappeared. That wasn't failure. That was preview. A preview of what is possible for you. But now, it's not about almost anymore. It's about alignment. My child, there are doors in your life right now that are not locked. They are waiting for one thing, your response. Not perfection, not confidence, not certainty, just your response. Because this is where everything changes. Most people think big changes come from big actions, but that's not true. Big changes come from small decisions made at the right moment. And this is that moment. You may not feel ready. You may still have doubts. You may still feel unsure. But listen carefully. You don't need to feel ready to move forward. You only need to be willing to trust the moment, willing to stay, willing to not run away this time, because something is aligning for you right now. People, situations, opportunities, they are slowly moving into place. And when they arrive, it will feel sudden, like everything changed overnight. But it won't be sudden. It will be the result of everything that has been preparing behind the scenes. And this is why this moment matters so much, because this is the point where you either stay aligned or disconnect. If you stay, things begin to open. If you disconnect, things begin to delay again. Not disappear, just delay. And you've already waited long enough. You've already felt what delay feels like. The frustration, the confusion, the almost moments. You don't want to go back there. My child, you are not being tested. You are being positioned to receive something that you were not ready for before, but you are getting ready for now. And that's why everything has felt so intense. Because intensity comes before breakthrough. Think about it. Right before something changes, everything feels uncertain. Everything feels unclear. Everything feels heavy. And then it shifts. That's where you are right now, right before the shift. And this is why you must not disconnect. Because the moment you've been waiting for is not somewhere far in the future. It's forming right now, closer than you think. But here's the truth most people don't hear. Opportunities don't wait forever. Moments don't stay open forever. And alignment requires presence. You have to be here, aware, paying attention, because what is coming next will require you to recognize it. And if you're distracted, if you go back to old patterns, if you ignore this feeling, you might miss it again. Not because it wasn't meant for you, but because you weren't present when it arrived. My child, this is your moment to stay, to trust, to remain aware, because something real is about to enter your life. And in the final part, you're going to understand what you need to do next, how to fully align with this moment, and how to not miss what's coming. Stay with me, because part 5 is where everything comes together. Stay with me, because this is where everything comes together. You've felt the shift. You've understood the moment. You've seen how things were preparing in your life. Now the only thing left is your response. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. Because moments like this don't ask for perfection. They ask for decision, a simple decision, to stay aware instead of going back to distraction, to trust the process instead of doubting everything, to move forward even if you don't feel 100% ready. My child, this is the difference between people who change their life and people who stay stuck. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's response. What they do when a moment like this appears. And right now, you are in that exact moment. You can feel it, that quiet clarity, that inner pull, that feeling that something is different this time. That's your signal. And signals are not meant to be ignored. They are meant to be followed. Because when you follow them, things begin to align faster. Decisions become clearer. Paths become visible. Opportunities become recognizable. And slowly, everything starts moving. Not all at once, but enough to change direction. My child, you don't need to force anything. You don't need to control everything. You only need to do this. Stay present. Stay aware. And when something feels right, act on it. That's it. That's how alignment works. Simple, but powerful. Because most people overthink. They wait. They delay. They doubt. And because of that, they miss what was right in front of them. But you have a chance to do it differently. Right now, this is your moment to break that pattern, to not scroll away, to not ignore the feeling, to not delay again. Because you already know what happens when you delay. Nothing changes. But this time, something can change. Something real. Not just a feeling, but actual direction in your life. And it starts with this awareness. My child, you were not brought here randomly. You stayed till the end. And that matters. Because most people don't. Most people leave before things make sense. Most people leave before the shift happens. But you stayed. And that tells me something important. You are ready. Maybe not perfectly ready. Maybe not completely sure. But ready enough to not ignore this moment. And that's all it takes. Now listen carefully, because this is your next step. After this video ends, don't go back to autopilot. Take a moment. Sit with yourself. Think about what you've been feeling lately. Think about what's been trying to change. Think about what you've been avoiding. And then, make one small decision. Not a big one. Not a scary one. A small one. Something that moves you forward. Something that aligns with what you feel inside. Because small aligned actions create big changes over time. And that's how this moment turns into transformation. My child, this is not the end. This is the beginning of a shift that you almost missed, but didn't, and that changes everything. So don't forget this feeling. Don't ignore this awareness, because this moment was meant to wake you up. And now, you're awake. Stay that way, and watch what happens next.